Hello everyone, welcome to LetsDevOps. I am Sumit and today we will discuss about YAML template. So in this tutorial, first we'll understand what is YAML template. Second, we'll understand why we need to create a template. Third, we'll see different types of template that we can create in YAML. Fourth, we'll see how we can create a template with the parameters. And at the end, we'll see the demo with the real base scenario. So before we start, as a prerequisite, we should have a basic understanding of YAML pipeline. So if you are new to YAML pipeline, don't worry, I have attached a tutorial in the video description. So let's recap some basic understanding of YAML pipeline. So as you know that in YAML, we have three main components. First is stages, second is the jobs, and third is steps. So under the stage, we create multiple jobs. Under the jobs, we add multiple steps. And this is a hierarchy we have in a YAML pipeline. Now coming to what is a template in YAML pipeline. So a template is nothing but another YAML file which contains some shareable content, logic or a parameters in YAML. So if you want to call a logic again and again, in this case what we can do, we can create a template of that logic, and whenever it is required, we can call those templates in our pipeline. Let's take one more example. Assume that I have a multiple application and that needs to be built and published. In this case, what I can do, I can create a template which will build the application and also publish the artifact. And this template I can call for all of the applications which I want to build and publish. Now let's understand why we need to create a template. So first of all, it helps to create a simpler pipeline, easy for development, and with the help of template, we no need to define the same logic again and again at the multiple places. So we can reuse the code at the multiple places in a pipeline. Now let's talk about the different types of template and also different category we have. So there are two main type of template that we can create. One is with the include, which helps to insert the reusable control, and the second is extend. So in this demo, mainly we will talk about the include part itself. Now coming to the template category. So as you know, in the YAML pipeline, we have a multiple component like a stage, steps, and jobs. So we can create a template for each type. So we can create a template at the stage level, we can create a job template, we can create a step template, and also we can create a variable template. So a stage template, nothing but it will hold all the stages. Job template will have the all list of jobs, and the step template will have a list of steps that you want to reuse it. Similarly, for a variable template, you will have a list of variables. And coming to this diagram, if you notice here, whenever you create a specific type of a template, then you need to call at the same level, right? So assume that you have created a stage template, you need to always call at the stage level. If you have created a job template, you need to call it as a job level, sorry. And if you have created a step template, you need to call at the steps. So this we'll also see in our example and the demo. Now let's talk about the step template and its syntax. Step template helps to group all the steps that can be shareable in many jobs or stages. So in this example, if you have noticed, we have created a step template to install the npm and then the test. And these steps can be called for many jobs, like for the job for Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. So because whenever you want to do something, you need to install the required software, right? Like if you want to build also. So first of all, you need to install, and that can be called for many pools. So in this case, what we did, we created a template, step template, and then from the main pipeline, we are calling those templates. So if you see here, with the help of template keyword, we are providing the path of the template that we created, and this is for the steps. So if you notice there, we are referring the template at the step level because we created a step template. Similarly, when we create a stage template, we will be referring at the stage. For the job template, we will be referring at the job. Now coming to the job template helps to group all the jobs that can be shareable in many jobs and stages. So let's take this example. Here we have defined two different jobs. One is for Ubuntu and another is for Windows. And this job we have grouped together and created a job template. Okay, and in the main pipeline, under the jobs, we are calling those, right? So if you notice here, we are referring at the job level because it is a job template. Similarly, for the stage template helps to group all the stages that can be shareable and referenced in many master pipeline. So like that we are creating here with the stage keyword, stage template, and then we are referring those stage template at the stage level here, if you notice, and we are defining with the template and then the path of the stage template. Now coming to the variable template is also nothing but it's a template where you define all the variable that can be shared, right? It's mainly for sharing the code or content. So here we define the YAML with the variable keyword, and we are putting all the variable and its value. And in the main YAML pipeline, we are calling with the help of variable and then the templates. So this is how we are referencing the template. Okay. Now coming to the creating a template with the parameters. So in this above example, we created all the template, but we haven't provided any parameters. So, but in some cases and in the real scenario, whenever you create a template, you need to pass the parameters. So we can also create a template with the parameters, and that can be applicable for all, for the stage template, steps template, and the job template, as well as a variable template. So let's take one example. Assume that I am building a template for which is like to build the application, and the application name I'm picking it from the parameter file, right? So as a user, you can pick which application to be built. So that application name I can pass as a parameter to the template. Okay, so this is how you can leverage the option of parameters. So whenever you don't know the value, you want the users to be filled up, or maybe it is coming from a previous run, in that case you can always create a template with the parameter and you can pass, right? So here if you notice, so first thing that what we can do, when we create a template, we provide a parameter, and then we are referencing that parameter's value in a jobs or the steps. Okay, so this is how we create a the template with the parameter, and from the main pipeline we'll call that, right? So whenever you call that template, you need to also pass the parameter, its value, right? Because in the template you are declaring the value, but from where you are calling it, you need to define and pass the value. Okay, so also we have for a step template with a parameter. So yeah, as I mentioned that you can also create a parameter for a steps template, stage template, jobs template. So these are some examples. That also applies for the variable. Yeah, like in some variable, if you don't know the value and which may be coming from the users, in that case you can also pass the parameter to the variable template, and this is how you call it. Now before diving into the complex example, let's create a sample pipeline where you'll have multiple steps, and further what we'll do, we'll try to convert those steps in a step template, and that step template will call it from the main. So let's log into the Azure DevOps, and here I'll try to create a new pipeline. So I'll just pick up the starter pipeline, and here what I'll do, I'll just update the pool because I'm using a self-hosted pool. So my pool name is default, and let's add a couple of steps. Maybe assume that if I want to add some PowerShell steps, PowerShell templates, and as of now for a demo, I will just try to add some of the task, which is just trying to do a write host. Okay. Okay, now so the first task is added, and let's give this a name, maybe the display name. Display name is maybe building that application. Okay, and yeah, write host, add a step 2. Steps to build application, and then I'll just try to copy the same task. So as part of any building an application, maybe you need to build the application, then you need to create a package application. Okay, restore package application, and then maybe need to publish the package right? So let's add the 3 tasks. Okay, so maybe I'll try to add some here. Publish the package. Publish the package. So now I have created a sample YAML pipeline which has 3 steps, which is the first is building the application, second is packaging the application, and third is publishing. So first let's try to run that. Save and run. So I think I need to permit. So currently it is running. Meanwhile, I'll try to just change the name if I can change. Okay, sample temp demo, then I'll just override this. I don't want to set up that as of now. Okay, so now if you notice that this pipeline has been, under the one job we have 3 different steps, and that is now completed. So let's take an example of creating a template. So assume that I want to group all these steps in a step template, and then I will call that template from the main template. Okay, so let's go to the YAML file in the repo. So I think this is the YAML which we created, and as of now what I will do, I will try to copy all these tasks, right? So since we are going to create a step template, we need to define that. So here let's create a folder. Maybe we'll give the name templates. Okay, and then here we give steps YAML template.yml. Okay, and now we'll try to place all those steps. Okay, I'll commit the changes. So now we created a template, right? So we created a step template where it has 3 different steps or the task, which first is building and then packaging the application. Now with the help of this one, we'll try to call that. So what we can do, we'll just try to edit it here, and with the help of template keyword, we can just call our step template which we created. So steps template, and then we have this name, so steps -YAML template.YAML. Okay, so one thing, if you notice, now this YAML pipeline looks very cleaner, right? So we added all the steps in the step template, and then we are just referring that from the main pipeline. So let's build the pipeline and see how it goes. Okay, so now it started running, and if you notice here, the steps which we included as a template is now showing up here. So building the application, packaging the application, and then publishing the application or package, sorry. Okay, so this is how we create a template and then we refer in a main pipeline. Okay, let's go back to that this real scenario example. Now coming to this example, so if you notice here, as part of setting up a CI/CD, we will have 2 different stages, right? One is a continuous integration, and then the second will be the continuous deployment. So as part of the continuous integration, you might need to build your application, test it, and then publish it. And that also you need to do on a multiple operating system, maybe on a Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. And each job here can have multiple steps. Similarly, for the continuous deployment, you need to deploy maybe for a multiple environment like dev, test, and prod. And for each deployment, you might need to first download the artifact, deploy it, and then validate it. So keeping this scenario in mind, how we can make use of the template. So here, if you notice, first we can create a master YAML pipeline, which can have a two different stage for continuous integration and continuous deployment. And under the continuous deployment, also we can have three more stages. One is for dev, test, and prod. Under that, we can maybe create a jobs, and then it will have a step template. Similarly, for a multiple platform, like under the continuous integration, we can have a operating system like Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. And for that platform, we need to again do the same task, like, right, we need to build the application, test it, and then publish it. So that we can define in the job template, right? And for the steps, we may need to create a step template. Now talking about the variable template is like we can make use of the master YAML pipeline to declare what is the required variable that you need to pass. So you can always declare at the master YAML pipeline. So let's take an example. So I have, so if you notice here, we have four items. One is to create a master pipeline. Second is like we need to create a stage template, job template, and step templates. So I have attached all the code here. So maybe you can refer for your references, but this example also I'll try to run it in a demo. So now let's build the pipeline for this complex example, because I've already created a template and put it in here. You can just have a reference, and now here we can run that pipeline. Okay. So now the pipeline has been triggered, and if you notice here, we have a multiple stage. First is the build. We are maybe building for multiple platforms. Then we have a dev to deploy that on the dev environment, test to deploy on the test environment, and prod for deploying on the prod environment. And if you notice here, we have a multiple, you can say the jobs, right? Job to scanning for credential, creating an exisIQ, building on a Windows, Linux, and Macs. And that we can also see in here, maybe just reference here. So if you notice here, I have created one master pipeline.yaml. Meanwhile, it is running. I'll just try to explain the template, the architecture, and the skeleton of it. So master pipeline.yaml, what it has, it is having some parameter that we are passing as when we trigger the pipeline. And here we have defined the template, a variable template. So these are the variable template which has some the value that you may need to declare it. And under the stages, we are calling this stage template, because since we are calling at the stage level, we can call it as a stage template, right? So CI build template is one of the stage template which we have defined in the templates. So here, if you notice, we have a CI build template. So let's go to this particular template. And here what we need to, we see it here, we have defined multiple jobs, right? Job for scanning the credential, SonarQube, NexusIQ. So basically this is for scanning your code. And then we are also defined one job template which helps to build and publish the app. So let's go to this. And this since we have defined at the job level, it should be a job template. Let's go it here. And if you notice here, we are creating a job template with passing as a parameter. And each jobs will have, we have multiple jobs basically for building that application on a Windows, Linux, and Mac, right? Now coming to again master pipeline. So then next is like we have a CD template that we are calling, where we are deploying for maybe for the dev. And again, we are calling that same template for a test deployment and the production deployment. So let's go to the CD deploy template and let's see. Okay, so if you notice here, we are defining the jobs, right? And it is also calling some step template. So we saw that stage template, we saw that job template. Now let's see the step template, because we have defined at the step level. So we are deploying the apps, and then, so it is a deploy apps.template. So here in this is only we have defined the steps. So this is just for example, and because we are not doing a real build and deployment, just kind of a skeleton which I have prepared, and maybe that will be useful for you. Okay, so this is how it looks. Maybe you can define or your template in the template folder, and in the root folder you can define your master pipeline, and then again for a variable template. Let's go to the pipeline and see. Okay, so currently it is running, and since it is already completed for a build and for dev, yeah, if you notice here, and then it is running for test. So now for the test also it is passed, I guess. So I'll pause the video, and once it finishes I'll come back. So now the pipeline has been completed, and if you see all green, so first is like build stage, dev test, and the prod, and under the each steps we have a 2 jobs, and under the build we have a 6 jobs. So that's all for this demo. Okay, so let's recap what we learned in this tutorial. So first we understood what is a template, why we need to create a template. Then we'll saw what are the different types of template we have and how we call it, where we need to refer it. And then we'll also see how we can create a template with a parameter. And after that we created a sample step template with a pipeline. And then we also saw some complex example. And I have also attached all the templates in a GitHub link, which is added in the video description. You can just have a look to it. So that's all for this demo. I hope this will be helpful. If you have any issue or concern, you can write in the comment box. And thanks for watching. If you like this video, kindly share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye.